them with the legal implications on creating that business. So two different things. One is the legal implication, and the other one's financial implication.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they kind of overlap, right? There are some things that
They can, yeah. There's a lot of CPA or really very very good CPA. They pretty much know the business formation already,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes they can pretty much know and navigate the whole process by themselves. But again, if there's going to be legal questions, the CPA cannot really answer that. It has to go through the attorney.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. We've been receiving a lot of press releases, let's say, from the Department of Justice and many other federal agencies, and with regards to tax preparers, that people have been arrested because of fraud in tax preparation. So now, if a person goes to someone who they thought was a CPA and turns out to have been fraudulent in filing income tax returns, we'd like the listeners to know that this particular client has no liability but the tax preparer, correct?
Well, before you actually engage into someone who think they're CPAs, you probably would need to find out if they're CPAs first before you actually make them handle your accounts. I mean, I haven't been preparing tax returns for a long time. But I've always every year I look at all the changes of the tax law because I still want to prepare my own tax return,
mm-hmm.
and not to have someone engaged to do, because I always want to. I mean, I trust myself than trusting someone else to do mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's always been my principle. So,
right.
And that's the reason why when people say, well, how do you keep yourself? So I just read the new tax law when I start preparing my return.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, and you're actually an accountant, yeah.
Personally.
Mm-hmm. But we realize now, Rod, talking and interviewing a lot of people, apparently the ones that work at H&R Block and other companies are not all CPAs. They're tax specialists.
No, I mean, I used to work for H&R Block a long time ago. And I wasn't a CPA.
Uh-huh.
I know there's a lot of people in there preparing tax returns who had no financial background.
Uh-huh.
All they did was went through the H&R Block class, they pass it, and then all of a sudden they're thrown into the the office to prepare tax returns for other people.
So does that mean to say that it is advisable to go and seek the assistance of a real CPA, especially if you have a business?
Well, if you understand that the tax law and you've prepared taxes in the past, this tax software like the TurboTax or the H&R Block tax software are pretty good enough that would help you navigate through and prepare your own tax return. Because it's very simple. It walks you through from the beginning to the end. It basically, the tax software basically asks you, do you have this kind of expenses? Do you have this kind of expenses? And all you do is check, put a check mark on those, and it basically walks you through the interview section, and then once the interview section is over, the form is done. It asks you through, for example, if you have you received a 1099? If you check yes, that means that you go through you go through all the question answers of how much income have you received and how much expenses have you had. Have you had this kind of expense? It goes you through. You have office expenses. You put the numbers in there. Do you have office supplies? You put the number in there. Do you have transportation? You put the number in there. Parking, auto expenses. You put all the numbers in there, and once you complete, it will spit out your Schedule C.